Hey, assalamu alaikum everybody. I hope you're doing well. Sorry I haven't posted in the past month because it's been very, very busy. But I'll tell you about that in a little bit. So, it's the 1st of October and tomorrow I leave Denver. It's a very, very beautiful city. It's so beautiful. The sad thing is that I haven't been able to really travel anywhere because I've just been going back and forth from, I mean, the I'm staying with a host family, trying the hosting for the first time. It's great. It's really wonderful. I like it a lot more than staying in a hotel or apartment. Though staying in a hostel is pretty interesting too. I like that. And every time I go to class, I see the mountains, and they're beautiful. And they're always west of the city, so if you get lost, just to look that in that direction, and you'll orient yourself. The interesting thing about this mile-high city, I didn't know about that. I was told that on the plane. Sorry, but it's apparently pretty well known. Is well, people say that when they come to Denver, they feel weird at first because of the altitude, because it's really a mile above sea level. And what's interesting is that when I first got here, people were meeting each other, and maybe around half of the students in my program were 12 in all are from Denver, local areas, or other cities, and they compared each other's altitudes. They knew the altitude of their cities. One lady who lives up in the mountains. I mean, her community is only 300 people. Dirt road, far from here, but just way up, much higher than here. Says she comes down to Denver and she feels full of energy, like Superwoman, because the oxygen up there is a lot less, and so she has to breathe more and harder, and I guess it's more difficult on her lungs. She's like, I come down to Denver and I can run faster, I can jump higher. I was like, wow. But another lady I spoke to said when she went down to like Florida from Denver, said it was so much oxygen she was exhausted the first 2 days because it was just like she felt really lightheaded, and I was like, well, that's so interesting. Apparently, a lot of Olympic athletes. Now I knew they went into a higher place, but they apparently go to Boulders, Colorado, which is not far from here. One of the girls in my program was from there to train because the air is thinner in the mountains, and then when they come down to sea level and compete, it's a lot easier. Baking instructions are different for higher altitudes. Now, I don't know why that is. Maybe someone could explain that to me. But, there's a difference here. And this difference was felt first by my host brother. He's here from China, studying English, from southern China, first time out of the country. He just came like 5 weeks ago, a week or two before me. And he said that his nose bled a couple times. And I was like, wow, and it was just a drop or two. Well, then my nose started to bleed, and my nose was more serious. It was like 10 minutes or 15 minutes. I lost a lot of blood, and I felt like it was really dry here. Well, the thing is, there's very little humidity. There's very little humidity here in Denver, and we're closer to the sun. It's warmer. I mean, a few weekends ago, it was 30, 35 degrees, whereas in Michigan, where I'm from, it was raining, and it was closer to the 20s and low 20s. So I was very surprised at the difference here. So we're closer to the sun, there's less humidity, and so my lips were just chapped, my skin was getting dry, my fingers and stuff. I had to drink a lot more fluids, water, and one of the people in my program, all interesting people in my program, he did a lot of rock climbing, and he said what they would do is they would take Carmex. I'm not trying to advertise or anything, but any sort of liquid, I don't know, moisturizing lip balm, something like that. And he said what we used to do before we went up into the mountain is we used to put it in our noses to keep them moist. And so I started to do that almost every night, and it just helped the problem because my nose bled twice, and then I just stopped feeling it. I drank more fluids and just felt great. But it's so interesting, that I had to deal with that, and that it was such a big difference. Unfortunately, I did not get up to go up into the mountains, although I would have loved to. I just didn't have time. It was a very intense program, and I don't have a car, so how am I supposed to get there? But I had a blast, just struggling with my classmates. We were doing class from early in the morning until late at night, and so, from the time I left the house to the time I got back, it was 12 hours, or 5 days a week. And that doesn't include the homework that we had to do. So it's a very intensive course. It's a CELTA course. I'll put the link in the comments. And it's training to be an English teacher. It's basically the gold standard certificate out there. And a lot of places, I mean, the best places, they won't accept people if they don't have it. And my classmates were some of the most open-minded people I've ever met. Seriously, I mean, they've all either traveled to other places and want to continue traveling and teaching English, or they want to just get out, leave the States, and just explore. Um, and some of them are willing to stay in their new countries for a long time, and they're all going to different continents. I mean, some of the students want to go to Indonesia, some Japan, some Turkey, some Spain. That guy's leaving on Tuesday. Mexico in North America, Brazil in South America, Costa Rica, different places. I mean, just all over. And it's so interesting that this group of 12 people, they're all going to all these different countries, and everyone has this thirst for traveling, and so it really excited me. I'm ready to travel again. I can't wait to go through culture shock again, all over again. I mean, we just spoke about it a couple days ago. It's normal. You have your 5 phases, whatever they call them. It's like honeymoon, and then you're just idealizing everything, and then hostility, and then depression, and then adaptation. You're changing around, and then acceptance. I think that's what she said. The lady who gave us the lecture, and she apparently did her master's thesis on that. If you want that authoritative fallacy there. But it's once you get over it, I mean, you get over the difficulty. For me, it takes about 3 months to go through culture shock. That's what I've seen the past 2 times. It's beautiful. It's so beautiful that you feel at home, and I love it. And I can't wait to travel again. Now, don't ask me when, don't ask me where, but it's kind of looking like in this field, you just have to kind of go to the country. I've tried I've applied to over 100 places. It's taken me hours. I've done a lot of research on places where I want to go, and basically, internet's not working. People want to see you there, dressed up, firm handshake with your CV or your resume in your hand, and they want to see that you're ready to go and you're in country. Otherwise, they're not just going to give you a job, because so many Americans have gotten jobs through the internet as English teachers and then just not shown up. And so it's really messed up this school. So I'm actually ready. I know this sounds crazy, to just go to a new country within the next month and just start applying. And if I don't make it, I have a backup plan. So we'll see how it is. I'll keep you up to date. But yeah, it's kind of looking like I'm going to be traveling very soon. So wish me the best, and I'm very excited. Tomorrow I get on a flight back home to Michigan, so I'll see my family for a little bit, sort some things out, and then see how it goes. Alright, I was planning on staying in the States longer, but I don't know, it doesn't look that way, and I really do want to travel. Alright, so take care everybody, and Assalamu alaikum.